All right, so we're going to continue on with the next phase of our site design workflow, and that will be to create the subsurface. In this case, we're going to show you how to create the rock surface for our project. So our project has quite a bit of rock in it. We're going to have to deal with that in our design and know where that is so we can determine how much, maybe blasting we're going to have to do down the road. To do that, we are going to work with some provided boring data, some geotech data. And in this case, we are providing you with a couple files. The only file we're really going to need is the CSV file. The CSV file was saved from the XLS file, which is the Microsoft file. And if you're not familiar with the difference between a CSV or a text file, we do have a Microsoft or AEC guide that you can get that we go through a deeper explanation of how to create these files. But if we take a look at that file, the CSV file in Microsoft Excel, it's really just a column of text. So we've got our boring data, we've got our northing, our easting, and our depth of this case of our elevations of our rock surface, right? So it's the elevation data that is really it's the depth that we have. Okay, you see it's like 17 feet, 4 feet, 8 feet. So that's below the finished ground. So I'm going to show you how to work with this and create the surface for our project. So the first thing we need to do is create a new drawing. So we're done with our slope analysis. We don't need that one. We're going to create a whole new drawing. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the X. We'll go ahead and save any changes we have to that. And we will start a new drawing. So just like we have in the past, we're going to use this NCS DWT template, the standard AutoCAD or Autodesk Civil 3D template. And we need to bring in that CSV file. So we're going to go to our Prospector tab. We're going to go to Points. We'll right click on Points and select Create. From the toolbar, the last icon is the Import Points command. We will select that, and we are going to import the points. So we'll click on this plus button, and we'll navigate out to that folder location where we have this CSV file. If it's not displaying the CSV file, come down to Files of Type and change it from text to CSV. You can use a text file if it's comma separated. And we'll talk about the delineation here. You'll see that in a minute. So I'm going to pick on that CSV. We'll click Open. It's going to look to try to find a match, and the formatting is not found. So we need to create that format. So that's what we're going to do here in this step. Click on this, and what we need, like I showed you in that CSV file from Microsoft Excel, is we had the description, northing, easting, and elevation. If we look at this, it's all point number or NEZ, just NEZ. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the point number, northing, easting, elevation. So that's NEZ, comma delimited, right? Because that's what the CSV means. It's comma separated values. And instead of going new, we're going to just copy that. So I'm going to make a copy of this one. And we're going to change the name to a DNEZ. So get rid of the P, we'll make it a D. The extension default, that's CSV, that's what we're working with. So if you are working with a text file, you can use that. And this is what designates the delimitation of the data. It's delimited by a comma in this case. So that's how it knows the file format. Now down here, you can see that we've got point number, northing, easting, elevation. I'm going to click on point number, and we're going to change that from point number to description. So we can just use raw description or full description. I'm going to click raw description, and we'll click OK. So the point is looking for a number. If you noticed when I showed you that file, it's B-1, B-2. It's a text. It's got text and numerical values. So raw description will accommodate that value, right? And it'll show up in the description of the points that we bring in. So you can load the file here. I'm just going to click OK, and we'll click and select that format we just created, and we'll click Close. And by doing that, you'll see now it shows up. There's our B1, our northing, our easting, and our point elevation. We want to bring these in and add them to a point group. We can do the group later, or we can do it now. So let's go ahead and do it now. We'll click on that checkbox. I'll click the plus to create the point group. We'll call it borings. And we'll just say rock data. And we'll click OK. We don't need to do any of the elevation adjustments, so I'll click OK to that. And now we've got our points in. Now you can do this a couple ways. I can close this. We're done with that. If you go to that point group and right click on that boring rock, you can click zoom to, kind of a shortcut to show you getting to the data you're looking for, right? Zooming to that data. Here we have the number. It just automatically assigned a number, but it did create the B-27, and we have the elevation of each point. Okay. So that's the first step. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk about how to maybe label these a little bit differently. So we'll look at creating label styles, but then we'll also go ahead and show you the next step of creating the rock surface. And we have to do a little importing and exporting. So we'll show that in the next video.